Welcome back to the channel, guys. I got something interesting I want to share with you today, and people don't think of it in our line of work. I think this is going to be an interesting topic. I want you to dive in the world of correctional officers and put the recognize, relate, accumulate principle to the test. And what makes it interesting, do you feel like we use this in our daily line of work as correctional officers? Or should we be using this in our line of work? So when I come back, we're going to talk about this recognize, relate, accumulate principle. All right, the recognize, relate, accumulate principle is a fascinating concept that has gained tractions in various fields, including corrections. It's a guiding principle that is supposed to help officers build trust and diffuse conflict and fostering positive relationships with the inmates. But the question remains, us correctional officers, do we really use this principle in our daily work? Correctional officers often face a multitude of challenges in our line of work, meaning that we have to manage the inmate's behavior. And managing inmates' behavior is a delicate task that requires a deep understanding of the human psychology, coupled with effective communications. The slightest missteps can escalate tension, leading to violent outbreaks or even cause a riot. Now, to make matters even worse, officers often have to deal with the limited resources. In most cases, it's inadequate training and the perpetual threat of physical harm. It is a high-stress environment, and it demands a unique blend of emotions, intelligence, empathy, and authority. In addition to these challenges, correctional officers often struggle to establish meaningful connections with the inmate. The power dynamic is to inherit skewed, making it difficult for officers to build trust or foster genuine relationships. Or, been soft on them. We're just going to follow the rules. Moreover, the correctional environment is designed to enforce discipline and order rather than encourage open dialogue and empathy. As a result, our officers often rely on the traditional method of control and discipline rather than exploiting alternative approaches that prioritize communication and understanding. However, this doesn't mean that correctional officers are completely incapable of building connections with inmates. In fact, many officers have developed innovative skills and strategies to break down the barriers to establish rapport with the inmate population. By acknowledging the humanity of the inmate and recognizing the value or inherit the value, these officers are able to create a sense of mutual respect and understanding. Now, this in turn can lead to a reduction in conflicts, improvement behavior, or even rehabilitation. Now, despite all the challenges, there are many correctional facilities that are actively incorporating the recognize, relate, accumulate principle in their daily operations. Now, by recognizing the inherent value of inmate relating to their experiences and emotions and accumulating trust through open communications, these facilities are able to create a more positive and rehabilitative environment. A lot of institutions are already doing this by having incentivized camp. A lot of you don't know or haven't done research. Some of these camps have installed big screen televisions. They have the PlayStation, the Xbox in there, and if they're well behaved, they get movie night. Now, when I first started, you told me this was going to be in this line of work. I would have told you that's not going to be something that we'll be doing. We used to joke when I started this business, what we're going to do, give the inmates a pizza party, popcorn party. Well, it turns out, if you got a group of inmates, the incentive, we have put them into a facility, incentivized facility, and you have to understand, we're not talking about doing this for the guys that are problem child. These are the people that are in sentences. They might have a year and a day sentence. They might have a 2-3 year sentence. They're short sentences. They're getting out of the system. If they're going to be well behaved, let's put them in a camp together. Give them some incentives to be in there for staying out of trouble, staying out of the officers' hairs and things like that. While we're doing our normal job, rehabilitation, we're going to get them out there and get ready to go back in our communities. I'm going to state this like I stated in other videos. Their communities are in our neighborhoods. They're going to be our neighbors. So there's different programs different states are doing. So let me share with you a compelling example how this principle can be applied in real life scenarios. Officer Johnson, a seasoned correctional officer, was working in a maximum security facility when he came across an inmate who was notorious for his violent outbursts. Instead of resorting to the traditional method of discipline, Officer Johnson decided to take a different approach. He talked with this inmate, listened to the concern, and acknowledged his humanity. By doing so, he was able to diffuse the tension and establish a connection with this inmate, eventually leading to a significant reduction in the violent incidents. Officer Johnson's story is a testimony of the power of recognize, relate, and accumulate principle. By recognizing the humanity of the inmate, relating to their experiences, and accumulating trust, correctional officers can create a more positive and rehabilitative environment. It don't always work, but it does help. You don't have to go straight to a use of force to get the inmate to comply. If you take a second and ask them a few questions, you may find out what the real problem is. Now, the first outburst they may have is not the problem they really are having. It might be a deeper problem, but if you take a second and relate to it and find out what the real problem is, it might be something that could be fixed. Now, I grant it, he probably got our attention the wrong way. So we're going to take care of the security issue. You're going to pipe it down. But I'm going to talk to you for a second and ask you, why are you being like this? What is the real problem? The real problem might be a simple solution. It's not always a solution. Sometimes they're just bored and want something to do and they start a commotion. But sometimes when you start asking them questions, they may be needing the basic necessities that he might have asked for on a different shift that you don't know about, and they did not give it to him. You know, I'll give you an example, toilet paper. You don't run around your house with no toilet paper, do you? That's a necessity for these guys. If they run out, they run out. They might need another roll. But if they continue to be a problem after we have spoke to them and trying to resolve the resolution to the problem, yeah, we'll go to use of force and get them to pipe it back down and fix it. But let's find out what the real problem is. Let's not get someone hurt. Let's do it. Let's start it a different way. Try a different approach. Now, and this in turn can lead to an improved behavior. It reduces conflict and even stressful rehabilitation, successful rehabilitation. It's a principle that has a potential to realize the correctional facilities. It's already been used by innovative officers, like I stated, Johnson. In conclusion, to the recognize, relate, accumulate principle, it's a powerful tool that can aid correctional officers in their roles by recognizing the humanity of the inmate, relating to their experiences, accumulating trust, and officers can create a more positive rehabilitative environment. Now, that's a principle that has potential to make a real difference in the lives of the officer, the inmate, and alike. And I want to reiterate, I'm not talking about making friends with these inmates. What I'm doing is, let's find out what the issue is and go from there. If you go in a situation with an inmate at a 10, it's hard to go back down to a 5, 2, 3. But if you start off talking to the inmate in a nice, calm voice at a 2 or 3, you can go up to that 10 to get more of attention. Hopefully, before you hit that number 10, you have found the resolution to the problem. There's no reason we are having screening matches with an inmate. We don't need to be going back and forth with them. What I'm stating is, let's go into the situation and find out what the problem is and see if we can resolve it. If we can't resolve it, we'll start we'll go to policy and procedure and deal with it accordingly. It's not running from use of forces. It's not running from, it's a safer way of doing the job. A lot of the institutions out there are below critical staffing levels. And this is another way to help keep people from getting hurt. You don't need to go and run in every situation thinking we're going to escalate to the next stage. Let's take the escalation and just put a halt to it and go backwards. The other stuff's going to come if they don't follow the rules. I would like to take the time to thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. We'll get some more training videos. And let me know how you feel about this approach. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic or any other topics you may have. Comment below and let me know what you're interested in listening more about. The correctional practices, high risk. Just be safe out there, guys. I got your six. And thank you for watching.